comment, but maybe one of you might speak to this. It says here, as a teacher, I believe there's nothing good when the federal government gets involved in teaching theories. So I don't know if
I mean, I think that's quick. I think the problem is the American government is already in your school. It's already there, right? It's already taught you a theory of America. It's already taught American exceptionalism. And so the point is it's already taught manifest destiny. Mm-hmm. It's already taught, the age, what we call the age of imperialism. What does that actually mean? It's already taught those things. So for me, the reason why it's not so much looking at the federal government. And I understand this argument of like, yeah, we need less government. Okay, fine. There might be a part of me that wants full self-governance. Absolutely. And I believe that in different time periods, we could approach that more effectively. I don't think the self-government right now will be, the model for this American public, because we crazy and we got too many guns. Okay, so I just feel that, I understand the argument, but at the same time, you do need some regulatory situation. The point is, can Black people be a part of the regulatory stuff? And I think that's the thing that we miss, is that Black people aren't part of the regulatory apparatus by and large. Now we have become part of that. And so I think that that's the space. But no, you have to have the Department of Education say that these subjects can be taught in schools and that we can begin to test for these subjects. And the reason why you have to test for these subjects is because that is what makes the knowledge and information worthy of knowing. When you're testing for something, you're saying, this is the essential knowledge. Whatever school district you're in, whatever subject it is, when you're testing something, whether it's the, SAT, ACT, whatever it is, when you're testing, you're saying, this is the knowledge that you need to know to go into this section of society. And I'm saying that I believe the experiences of African Americans, African descendants in this country needs to be more centralized to our understanding of American history. And then we test on that. We expect people to know Frederick Douglass's 1852 speech, "What to the slave is the 4th of July." We expect people to know who Du Bois is. We expect people to know who Anna Julia Cooper is. And we test on those things. The way you become a modern society is you determine what's the essential knowledge that people need. And as long as you relegate the things that we're talking about to some marginal, angry community, then, and you're saying that it's not worth knowing. And it's in that space that it's not worth knowing that we're trying to disrupt, because we're considering this essential, because our lives are essential. To the degree that you want a progressive society, then you have to appreciate that point. And the only way it could get into all of our school districts is to have the Department of Education kind of sanction this stuff. And then from there, you have to think about how it actually gets taught and all those kinds of things. But yeah, it's not so much as saying, the federal government, in your classroom. But guess what? I grew up reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, in my public school. So whose idea was that? It certainly wasn't my Black neighborhood's idea that we did that, but we did that. Okay, so the point is the government's already in the schools. And so we need to think about being more creative about who's representing the government and what we're talking about when we're talking about representative government in schools. And I think, we have a long way to go with that. But I think we need to disrupt American exceptionalism. And so the degree that we're doing that work, I think we're making some progress. And there are efforts of school districts around the country, in places in California, in the Bay Area, where they're already starting to do an ethnic studies curriculum in their high schools, and so we'll see if that survives any injunctions that might come down. But, it's a battle for how we understand America.
Mm-hmm. And I could just add on to that real quick. Saying that liberty and justice for all is technically a theory. So the government is already introducing theories into our kids' minds. So, because that ain't a fact.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And saying it doesn't translate into action, right? because we say it. And you know what, this reminds me of, someone posted on Facebook that, so they want children to say the Pledge of Allegiance in schools, right? And pledge allegiance to the flag. But when people like us stand up, right, and advocate for those rights and advocate for the rights of people in color, children of color in schools and communities, then it becomes a problem. So are we really saying liberty and justice for all? So you have a point there. It seems like it's more theory rather than practice.